Tonight on CTV News at 6. With the community still under a state of emergency,
I think the reason is just the recent discovery of cryptosporidium in the water plant and also in the distribution system.
remaining medical personnel in Kashechewan are going to be evacuated. She died of cancer and was only 15.
Zoe really loved ice cream.
A Greater Sudbury High School has now started a fundraiser in her honor. And care close to home.
This one also does 3D, so it does a 50-degree, 25 each direction, and it does that in 5 seconds. Takes 1 millimeter slices of the breast.
The hospital in Timmins Shores opens its new mammography unit.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you joined us on this Monday. It was a deadly weekend on a northern highway. 3 people were killed Saturday in a head-on collision west of Hearst. Provincial police say a commercial motor vehicle and a passenger vehicle collided on Highway 11 near Highway 631. A 57-year-old man from Constance Lake near Hearst was killed along with a man and a woman from Northwestern Ontario. If anyone witnessed the crash or has dashcam footage, contact the OPP. 2 people were hurt after a single vehicle collision on the Kingsway in Sudbury. Provincial police say the crash happened early this morning, forcing the closure of the road between Moonlight and 2nd Avenue. One person was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries, while another had serious injuries. OPP reopened the road around 9:30 a.m. More than $200,000 worth of illegal drugs were seized after a traffic stop on Highway 11 near Powassan. North Bay police say officers found fentanyl, crystal meth, cocaine, and crack cocaine inside the vehicle after it was pulled over last Thursday. A 34-year-old woman from Hamilton is charged with possession for the purpose of trafficking. Medical staff are being pulled out of Kashechewan, and arrangements are underway to evacuate the remaining members of the remote First Nation community as soon as possible. We get the latest from CTV's Lydia Chubak.
The drinking water and sewage crisis in Kashechewan prevails. When sewage had backed up into the community's health services building, healthcare workers did the best they could and relocated to work out of the community school. Leadership now says nurses are being called out and paramedics will follow.
I think the reason is just the recent discovery of cryptosporidium in the water plant and also in the distribution system and also in the sinks. So that kind of started the process of the nurses leaving as the water wasn't safe for them to operate in. So I think FNEB and Health Canada made the call to pull out the nurses now.
Wesley says 370 community members, including 32 families, will have to evacuate this week as soon as possible.
People that are there have to leave now because there are no facilities for healthcare.
Wesley calls this news devastating as it hampers people's expectations about when they can go back home.
I just finished a call with our engineers and we're still figuring out the timeline of when the repairs will be made and everything else that needs to be done, like flushing the distribution center and also flushing individual houses. So there is still a long way to go, and right now there's no time frame.
Wesley says no one in Canada should be getting sick from their drinking water. With 67 reported cases of cryptosporidium, Wesley suggests that number is low and suggests there are many more.
A shame on Canada and a shame on the governments, both Ontario and Canada, to keep letting this happen in First Nations communities.
In a statement to CTV News, Public Safety Canada says it's keeping in close contact with Indigenous Services Canada and that Minister of Indigenous Services of Canada, Mandy Galmasti, is in direct contact with Kashechewan Chief Wesley about their immediate priorities to protect community members. However, Galmasti has yet to visit the community in person, despite invitations being extended to her. The community wants the federal and provincial governments to make good on their promise to relocate the community, because when the infrastructure eventually gets repaired, residents will be faced with having to evacuate again during spring flooding. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
And in an email to CTV News, Indigenous Services Canada says the nurse's departure is dependent on flight availability and is working with other healthcare authorities to ensure alternative access to health services for those who remain in Kashechewan. Major infrastructure upgrades are coming for a plan to the west end of Sault Ste. Marie. The changes will allow for more housing growth, and with financial help from the federal government, the city won't need to take on significant debt. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more.
Significant work is on the horizon at the Sault's West End wastewater treatment plant. The project comes with a $57 million price tag, with the city initially planning to incur significant debt for the work.
When it comes to our sanitary upgrades, those investments have to get done and they have to be paid for. So, in the absence of a grant funding, you see higher borrowing costs and larger chargebacks and fees on the wastewater portion of PUC bills in Sault Ste. Marie.
Last spring, the federal government announced it would cover almost $23 million of the project's bottom line through its Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund, specifically to allow for development in the city's West End.
Sound wastewater treatment infrastructure does allow us to build homes within that catchment area and fill in and have the maximum amount of homes in the community.
I believe we've exceeded our housing targets by over 150% each year over the past 2 years. And that is ideally where a municipality wants to be. We want to have our infrastructure ready when the market and developers need it most.
Work at the plant will include upgrades to both primary and secondary treatment for wastewater, as well as moving from chlorine to UV disinfection, a more environmentally friendly process.
It's due for an upgrade. It was built in the early 80s. We did a phase 1 upgrades over the last few years, so this is phase 2 of the upgrades to get it up to a modern standard.
Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Students at Laurentian University gathered for a rally today in support of the Faculty Association, which enters its 3rd week on strike. Students gathered at Founders Square, making their way into the Parker Building in hopes of having the administration hear their voices. They then marched to the picket line where they joined faculty. Those who attended say they hope this puts pressure to get both sides back to the table.
It's rough. It's really rough starting a semester, only getting 2 weeks in. There's not a whole lot I can work on or do on my own, and I wouldn't have it any other way, though, because I know that this is important to the profs, the faculty as a whole, and therefore it's important to us. We can't learn properly if they can't work properly.
Meantime, the university provided a statement to CTV, which says, in part, our priority is to get students back to class as soon as possible. We value our faculty and want to negotiate a fair contract that is within our financial reality. Meanwhile, a strike has been averted at Nipissing University in North Bay after the school reached a new agreement with its part-time faculty. The tentative deal was reached late Friday evening. The news comes after the union had taken formal steps toward job action earlier in the week. An agreement means classes will continue without disruption. Details of the tentative contract have not been released, and the union's membership and the university's Board of Governors have to ratify it. Hydro One is holding a community open house in Timmins right now on its proposed power line. Officials plan to discuss refinements to the route for the proposed Wawa-Timmins power line. Once built, they say the line will support the rapid increase in electricity demand and improve overall reliability across the north. The open house is at the Royal Canadian Legion branch, 287 in South Porcupine, and wraps up at 7 this evening.
We come to seek feedback and engage with the communities, Indigenous communities along the line, so that we can really understand from the individuals in the area the interest that they have and the information they can provide to us on the project. We take that information, we make route refinements in this case, and we bring them back again to the table to have the similar conversation. Hydro One staff will be there available to talk to people. We'll have maps on the table and really just looking to have a very casual and informative discussion where we can seek that feedback in person.
Public meetings are also happening this week in Folliet, Chapleau and Wawa. Hydro One plans to start construction on the new power line in 2028 and expects it to be in service by the end of 2030. Time now for our first check on weather, and the temperatures aren't too bad out there. With more on the weather, here's CTV's Rick Wyman. Rick.
A little bit of a discrepancy with my Canadian competition when it comes to an early spring or late spring. We'll get into the groundhog report a little bit later on. Systems map courtesy of Environment Canada. We've got a little bit of precipitation coming in, 2 centimeters, 2 to 4 centimeters. Some overcast conditions, a little bit of snow by the end of the week, and turning colder. So we had a nice weekend. We knew it was going to warm up. Not bad today, but again, that's all going to change in a little while as well, because after all, winter is far from being over. We'll talk your current temperatures, 7-day forecast, and of course, pick of the day, Tony, all coming up shortly. And my prediction for early or a late spring coming up as well. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. Across North America, rodents were predicting the weather on this Groundhog Day.
As town criers for Willie, we're proud to proclaim no shadow he spotted, no sunshine he claimed. So once again, the crier's bell did ring. Yes, Willie predicts, now hear this, it's an early spring!
Ontario's Wyerton Willie is predicting warm weather ahead. The mayor and town criers say the rodent did not see his shadow. Sadly, Nova Scotia canceled the event for Shubenacadie, Sam, because of the weather. According to folklore, that means an early end to winter. And in Quebec, Fred La Marmotte made a sunny prediction forecasting an early spring. The groundhog did not see his shadow this morning.
It is my job this February 2 to look to the skies and report back to you that there is a shadow here on my ground. 6 more weeks of winter abound.
And in Pennsylvania, Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, the iconic groundhog, predicting 6 more weeks of winter. New equipment still to come on CTV News at 6. We head to the hospital in Timmins Shores for a big announcement. First, we're heading to Sault Ste. Marie. This live webcam is courtesy of the International Bridge Administration. This is of traffic heading to Canada. It is -5 Celsius. We are back after this.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The hospital in Timmins Shores opened its new mammography suite this morning to screen and test people for breast cancer. CTV's Eric Tashner was there.
Screening for breast cancer has never been quicker or easier at the Timiskaming Hospital with a new state-of-the-art mammography machine in its breast cancer suite.
This one also does 3D, so it does a 50-degree, 25 each direction, and it does that in 5 seconds. Takes 1 millimeter slices of the breast.
Thanks to tremendous community support through hundreds of donors, the hospital was able to raise $450,000 by last October during Breast Cancer Awareness Month to purchase the new mammography unit.
And then on top of that, at the end of the program, Alamos Gold came on with another $48,000 to buy a biopsy unit.
We all come from women. We all want to protect the women, our mothers, our daughters, our wives, our sisters.
This takes samples.
The new biopsy unit will give specialists instant results. In 2025, the hospital completed more than 1,600 informative breast screenings and then another 540 investigative screenings.
Both those numbers increased by almost 15% from the previous year, so it's growing. That's in part because the government has now allowed the age limit to drop from 50 to 40. 200 of those screenings were for women between 40 and 49 years old.
The Timiskaming Hospital is recognized as an approved breast screening satellite site. The new equipment means some patients won't have to travel to Sudbury or Timmins for procedures.
If these machines can detect something at an early stage, we might even be able to save a life.
Our technologists are noticing that they're getting better images, that they're able to get more breast tissue, and being able to soon do contrast mammos. That's just another tool they have in their toolbox.
To offer hope and caring along the way, for patients who need it. Eric Tashner, CTV News, Timiskaming Shores.
Big changes are coming to the Greater Sudbury Airport as of May 1st. Porter Airlines announced it will no longer provide flights to Toronto, instead replacing it with daily flights to Ottawa. A spokesperson for the airline says the market has shifted for the Sudbury-Toronto route since the pandemic, with less overall demand. We believe that more people are driving than in the past, given relatively short distances, and business travel has decreased. Repositioning service to Ottawa provides non-stop access to the nation's capital and a greater range of connecting flights across the country that isn't available today. Meantime, in a statement, the Greater Sudbury Airport says, in part, while Porter will soon conclude its Toronto City Airport service, travelers will continue to have access to Toronto through existing air services and now benefit from an additional hub option in Ottawa. Expanding connectivity through multiple gateways strengthens travel flexibility and supports the long-term growth of air service in Northeastern Ontario. Again, the changes to the daily flights out of the Greater Sudbury Airport begin May 1st. More Northern Ontario police services are declining to take part in the federal government's gun buyback program. The program offers an incentive for 2,500 models of banned firearms, but owners only have until March 31st to declare their interest. Sault Ste. Marie Police announced today they will not allocate officers to the project, joining North Bay in prioritizing frontline policing over federal collections. Timmins Police confirmed via email they're also declining to participate. In an interview with CTV News last week, Nipissing-Timiskaming MP Pauline Rochefort said the lack of clarity has been a hurdle for local police.
Well, a lot of police departments have indicated that they did not receive sufficient information to understand what would be involved, the costs involved. Every police department is so busy, and so basically they need to have clarity. But certainly the program is moving forward, and there are measures in place in Canada to ensure that Canadians can return their guns as specified by the legislation.
While Sudbury Police have not yet issued a formal declaration of opposition, the service has indicated it will not be actively participating in the collection process at this time. There is something new on the menu for seniors at the Bob Rumball Centre for the Deaf in Sudbury. Details from CTV's Amanda Hicks.
They say food is the universal language. At the Bob Rumball Centre for the Deaf, that's being proven one dish at a time.
I love to cook, so I've enjoyed so many things. It's great to have a new experience, and also, like we support each other, so I might be, used to cooking, but we all learn from each other.
This month, the centre, in partnership with the Northern Ontario Association for the Deaf, launched a new free cooking series for seniors.
There's people who have traveled an hour and a half to get here and be part of this very unique opportunity for learning something, but also the fellowship part of being with their friends and what they call their family here.
It was made possible after the Sudbury Community Foundation selected the centre for its community granting cycle.
Last year we were able to support 15 different funding projects, this project being one, and we're thrilled to be here today to see it in action as well, to see all of the participants working together, just communicating with each other.
The grant provided us with much needed equipment, so we bought rotisseries and all the necessities to run a kitchen because there was no utensils, there was nothing. So we started from scratch and we were able to build our kitchen to where it was functioning.
While the turnout has been strong, the goal goes beyond the plate. For many deaf seniors, isolation is a daily reality.
Mental health has gotten better, people's mood have changed, people feel less isolated because they can come here and have a space to hang out and socialize and do things. So it's just amazing to see what getting involved in your community with a group of people can do.
Moving forward, these classes will be held here once a month. And officials say there's more on the menu with themed cooking sessions already in the works. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
Today, the French Catholic high school École Secondaire Catholique L'Horizon in Greater Sudbury honored a grade 10 student who passed away last summer. CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
Zoe Trapanier passed away on June 12, 2025 after a battle with cancer. Her family, teachers, and friends decided to honor her memory by initiating a fundraiser for Northern Ontario families of children with cancer.
She would just be like, this is what I wanted. Like, she would have wanted people in our family and her family and the school and the community and the students of the school to help the other communities that were in need, just like her and her family in the hard times.
We saw what her struggles were, what the family's struggles were, and knowing that they wanted to give back to NOFCC, which is Northern Ontario Families of Children with Cancer, it was just natural for us to say, yes, we want to give back since they helped you so much.
The school is starting off by selling merch in Zoe's honor. Then at the end of March, they'll kickstart different fundraisers with local community partners that they hope to repeat year after year.
Pour ma soeur, une des seules choses qu'elle fait manger sans être malade, c'était la crème glacée.
Zoe really loved ice cream. Stephanie said that, near the end, the only thing that she was able to eat was an Oreo Blizzard with extra Oreo. So we wanted to honor her by selling ice cream.
Ledo says many local businesses and organizations have agreed to help them in their mission to raise money for families in similar situations as Zoe. Among those is the Valley East Lions Club.
All year long, we've been planning to donate to NOFCC, and when we heard about what was happening here at L'Horizon and with Zoe Trepanier's foundation, we wanted to commit our next Porchetta Bingo. We wanted to commit all the funds we raised from that to donate to Zoe's campaign and to donate to the NOFCC.
Some fundraising in Zoe's honor has already begun, with Dance Evolution raising just over $2,100 in 2 hours at the Glow for Zoe dance last July. Madison Marier, CTV News, Val Karen.
All right, back now for a check on your current conditions. Once again, here's Rick.
Milder than what we experienced on Friday, the last time we talked about current conditions. Forecast radar as issued by Environment Canada. Take a look. A little bit of precipitation this evening and overnight, but nothing too serious. Maybe 2 centimeters or perhaps 2 to 4. We'll take a look at your current temperatures right now. How about starting off in Moosonee, as we always do? -6, -10 in Cochrane, -5 in Timmins, some light precipitation. Kapuskasing, some light snow, -9 as well. In Chapleau, some precipitation, light snow, -5. Wawa, heavier snow, -8 this hour. Sault Ste. Marie, some light snow at -4. Then there's Parry Sound, a few clouds, -3 in North Bay this hour, -9. Temiskaming Shores, -8, and Kirkland Lake also at -8. Greater Sudbury, overcast, -6. Some light snow in Espanola, -4. Elliott Lake, -4 as well. And my buddies on the island say light snow while falling on the island, in particular the Gore Bay area, -4 degrees. Your 7-day forecast and the bold and fearless prediction. Early spring or late spring? You'll find out coming up. Tony, back to you.
Can't wait. Thanks, Rick. It's going up next on CTV News at 6. The federal government is increasing the GST credit for Canadians. And a Canadian cabinet minister is in South Korea talking about a potential submarine deal. The boost to the GST credit is now one step closer to being enacted. MPs have unanimously approved a Conservative motion proposing to speed up deliberations of the Canada Groceries and Essentials Benefit Act. And today, the finance minister was asked if he believed this legislation could be passed by the end of Wednesday.
On my side, I can tell you, and caucus, no. I'm willing, and I'm saying that on live television, I'm willing to appear at committee this afternoon if they so want, to make sure that we would progress that and meet the immediate timeline. I have yet to hear. I know that there are discussions being held to make sure that this will happen.
If passed, Bill C-19 will increase the existing GST credit. Eligible Canadians will see an increase of 25% in their quarterly GST payments for 4 years and a one-time boost of 50% this year. After the bill is debated today, it will be sent to the House Finance Committee for an accelerated study. The competition is heating up to build Canada's next generation of submarines, with both South Korea and Germany pulling out all the stops. CTV's Judy Trin is in South Korea with more.
A deep dive into what could be the biggest defense procurement in Canada's history, the purchase of up to 12 submarines.
Because this has now evolved into a government-to-government situation. It's a big, big procurement. This is going to be a relationship with the winner for years, decades to come.
To persuade, the South Korean Navy plans to sail the KSS-3 submarine across the Pacific and dock in British Columbia, a journey that will take 2 months.
Your hands up here. Okay.
CTV News also got to see Hanwha's pitch up close. We couldn't film because of security protocols, but the attack submarine holds about 50 sailors. It launches vertical missiles that target land and has torpedoes. But the deciding factor will rest on economic benefits. To win the contract, Hanwha is pledging to help hard-hit businesses, like investing $345 million in Algoma to buy its steel and help it build a plant to make beams.
It's been tough as tariffs have been in place for a year and half of our business has gone away.
More than 24 CEOs accompanied the minister on this trip. While some companies are hurting, others are looking for ways to expand. Using robotic technology, Hanwha builds 45 ships annually on its assembly line. Speed, Ontario's shipyards want to emulate.
I mean, what they do here is cutting edge. It's absolutely fantastic. If we can bring just a fraction of that to Canada, I think us as a country would be a lot further ahead in our shipbuilding endeavors.
That was Judy Trinh reporting. Greenland's prime minister says despite U.S. President Donald Trump ruling out military force, Washington is still seeking to control the Arctic island. In a speech to Parliament in Nuuk, the prime minister says the U.S. is continuing to seek paths to ownership and control over Greenland. He says the constant uncertainty is affecting people's sleep and that children are feeling the worry and anxiety of adults on the semi-autonomous territory of Denmark. To the Middle East now, where reports from Iran suggest Iran's president has ordered the start of nuclear talks with the U.S. The move comes after Iran's foreign minister told CNN on Sunday that he was confident a deal could be reached with the U.S. on Tehran's nuclear program. He says Iran has lost trust in the U.S. as a negotiating partner, but talks with the U.S. have been fruitful. The news comes as President Donald Trump has threatened military action and ordered the dispatch of an aircraft carrier to the Middle East. The first of 2 sexual assault trials against Magna Auto Parts founder Frank Stronach is underway in Toronto. The billionaire Canadian businessman is facing a dozen charges involving 7 complainants. The allegations relate to alleged incidents that happened from the 1970s to the 1990s. Peel Regional Police originally charged Stronach with 18 offenses, but the case was later split into 2. The second trial is set to take place later this year. Stronach has denied all of the allegations against him. The judge-alone trial is expected to last 4 weeks. And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick. So, what say you? Early spring, late spring?
Well, you know what, Tony? 2 things are certain in Northern Ontario. The Leafs won't make the playoffs, nor will they win the Stanley Cup, but that's only one prediction, and it's not really a prediction. I'm going to go with 6 more weeks of winter weather. After all, Tony, it is Northern Ontario. We are never, ever let off the hook easy, so take that one to the bank. Forecast radar right now, we've got a little bit of snow, perhaps a couple of centimeters, 2 to 4 centimeters for this evening and into tomorrow, but nothing serious. And of course, you may need a broom to deal with that. Let's take a look at some of the conditions overnight as one of the monitors starts to fog up. In Greater Sudbury, 2 to 4 centimeters. Sault Ste. Marie, chance of flurries. Timmins, we've got 2 to 4 centimeters. Temiskaming Shores, 2 to 4 centimeters. And North Bay as well, 2 to 4 centimeters. In Moosonee, we've got wind chill overnight as well. Caphurst, more wind chill. The same with Wawa. Gore Bay, a couple of centimeters, and Parry Sound, 2 to 4 centimeters. Now your 7-day forecast. Sudbury and Nickel Belt, here we go. Wind chill tomorrow morning when you wake up, -14. Wednesday, cloud cover, -10, -11 and 13. Chance of flurries Thursday, periods of snow Friday. Sunny skies Saturday, -16, and the chance of flurries come Sunday at -13. Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma, when you wake up, Minus 26, the wind chill tomorrow. Minus 7 on Wednesday on the warm-up. Some cloud cover. Chance of flurries Thursday. More of the same on Friday to kickstart your weekend. Sun and clouds Saturday at minus 11. The chance of flurries on Sunday at minus 9 degrees. Temiskaming Shores coming up in just a moment, but first we got to check out Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. 2 centimeters of snow, the wind chill at minus 24 for tomorrow morning. Chance of flurries Wednesday, Thursday chance of flurries. Then we get into a nice stretch of weather here. Some sun and cloud Friday, minus 19, more of the same temperature-wise. Saturday, sunny skies, and Sunday, sunshine and minus 16. Now, Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. 2 centimeters of snow tomorrow. Wind chill minus 17 when you wake up. Chance of flurries Wednesday, chance of flurries on Thursday. Cloud cover Friday, minus 15. Minus 17 Saturday. Bit of a blip here with the temperature. Sunny skies. Sunday, some sunshine. Minus 15 as it warms up just a touch. Your normal minus 9 for this time of the year. North Bay, West Nipissing, 2 centimeters of snow, wind chill minus 16 tomorrow morning. Wednesday, we've got some sun and cloud minus 9, chance of flurries on Thursday, periods of snow Friday. Don't like that to start off the weekend. Minus 11 your high, minus 16 Saturday, sunny skies. And Sunday, we've got the chance of snow at 40% with a temperature of minus 13. Let's take a look now at our illustrious pick of the day. MJ Chrétien from the Nipissing First Nation, January's first full moon. And when you took that shot, MJ, I like your partner here in crime. Great shot. Just that gaze and the color. And well done. I appreciate the picture. MJ, a big fan of watching weather each and every night right here on CTV. Stick around. We've got more news with Tony after the break.
The clock is ticking on a mission that will truly be out of this world. Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen could blast off 1 week from tonight on a trip that will take him around the moon. CTV's John Venevali-Rao spoke with Hansen's parents, who live in Ontario, and say they're both excited and nervous as they too prepare for blastoff.
So this is Orion Jeremy spacecraft, and he's going to be up in there for the launch. So pretty amazing.
Jeremy Hansen's parents are excited to finally see their son climb into the top of this rocket and blast off towards the moon.
I'm Jeremy Hansen.
What has long been his dream.
This is when we took him when he was in kindergarten.
Mom and Dad happily showing us pictures of Hansen as a space-obsessed kid here at age 6 during a visit to the Kennedy Space Center. On his first day of school, he carried a Star Wars lunchbox.
So this one is Happy Birthday from Space.
And check out the cake Mom made him when he turned 7, featuring Martians and a moon made of icing. And now their only child, who just turned 50, is set to boldly go deeper into space than anyone's gone before.
We're so happy that Jeremy's going to finally live out his dream. But we're also very nervous.
Hansen and 3 American astronauts hope to board NASA's Artemis rocket as early as next Sunday, then head off on a 10-day voyage, slingshotting around the moon. The rocket is set to undergo a critical fueling test this coming week, with Hansen aiming to be the first non-American ever to leave low Earth orbit.
I think it'll be a proud moment for the whole country.
Mom and Dad are heading to Florida ahead of the possible launch. They say it's something Hansen's wanted to do since he was 5, and came across an encyclopedia entry about Neil Armstrong on the moon.
And then he went out that night and looked up the moon, then he was thinking, I could go up there.
And he came out that day and said, I'm going to be an astronaut. We didn't think you would.
On the Ontario farm where they lived, Hansen converted the treehouse into a spaceship.
He had some old breakers, you know, with the switches.
Like, make it look like it was like controls and everything. Very imaginative.
They say they know the mission has its risks, given the rocket and capsule, which are new, have never carried people before. Mom putting it bluntly.
He might not come back.
But she says she has a lot of confidence and trust in NASA.
Some people think it's just another launch. But when your child's on that launch, it's different.
Proud parents hoping to soon see their son turn a childhood fantasy into reality. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Ingersoll, Ontario.
And touch them all, Joe. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. Joe Carter's memorable home run for the Blue Jays World Series title in 1993 will be the first ever player statue outside Rogers Centre.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
A busy weekend for all three Northern teams on the road in the OHL. In Ottawa yesterday, the Sudbury Wolves pulled out a 5-2 win over the 67s. Sioux Greyhounds dropped a 3-2 contest in Brantford, and the North Bay Battalion got by the Ice Dogs in St. Catharines 2-1. Just two games in the NOJHL yesterday. The French River Rapids lost 5-2 to the Blind River Beavers, while the Iroquois Falls Storm beat Kirkland Lake Gold Miners 2-1 in front of a hometown crowd. The most iconic moment in Toronto Blue Jays history is going to be permanently immortalized outside Rogers Centre in Toronto.
Here's the pitch on the way, a swing and a belt, left field, way back, Blue Jays win it! The Blue Jays are World Series champions!
The team is planning to build a statue of Joe Carter's walk-off home run to win the 1993 World Series. The home run secured Toronto's second World Series in a row. The statue will live between gates 5 and 6 at the ballpark and will be part of the Jays celebrations for the franchise's 50th season. A family from Vaughan, north of Toronto, is in a race against time to find a cure for their son's extremely rare condition. CTV's Pauline Chan has more on the situation they're facing.
Whoa! How did you do that? He has an infectious laugh and is doing very well with his current routine of various therapies. But Lucas Azevedo's family fears the mutation in his RBM28 gene may rob the 2-year-old of his chance at a full and healthy life.
We've known about it since November of 2025. There is no official name for it or diagnosis for it.
It's kind of a rare mutation that he has.
Lucas's uncle, himself a neuroscientist, says so much about the boy's future is a mystery.
What it appears to do is be involved in the formation of the ribosome and the function of the ribosome. The ribosome is a cellular structure that converts genes into proteins.
Sophia says there is a boy in Mexico who appears to have the same mutation, but other than that, they don't know of any other cases. Their best hope is to develop a personalized gene therapy, and they've already found a clinic in the U.S. that's willing to do that, but the price tag is $1.7 million Canadian, and they need almost 300,000 Canadian just to begin the first stage. They've started a GoFundMe page and consulted with Terry Pirivolakis, who also fundraised to get his son, Michael, a gene therapy for his ultra-rare disease known as SPG50. They raised $4.5 million, and he says it's a very tough thing for families to face.
A disorder with under 5,000 patients in the U.S. is not commercially viable. So companies will not take those programs on, just like Michael's disorder. So the only way to move the needle and to save your child is to, unfortunately, do a clinical trial and raise millions of dollars.
We don't know exactly how it will affect his future. We only know, because there's so little known about this variant, that it's progressive. That's all we know so far.
Sophia says their cost is less for the gene therapy, but even with it, the future is unclear. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Many families are planning trips to get a break from the cold weather, and many are expected to fly south during March break. If you're traveling with grandchildren or nephews and nieces, you need the proper documents or you might not be allowed on the plane. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
It was very sad, you know.
Avita Gordon of Brampton was going to Jamaica with her husband for a wedding. They decided to travel with their grandchildren as Gordon's daughter had flown ahead as she was in the wedding party. But when they were boarding the plane, there was a problem.
I asked for a letter for the grandkids to show that, you know, I have permission to travel with the grandkids. I said I don't have one.
Gordon was told without documents showing the children were allowed to fly with her, they could not board the flight. All four of them ended up not getting on the plane.
I wanted to give the grandchildren a trip with myself, you know, and I didn't get on the flight. It hurts, you know, so much money down the drain.
The couple had to buy new airline tickets the next day, and the grandchildren had to stay home with relatives. This happened in December of 2024, but the Gordons had been seeking a refund from Air Transat, which was denied. A spokesperson for the airline told CTV News the children were traveling with their grandparents without a parental authorization letter, which is a mandatory requirement when minors travel without their parents or legal guardians. This rule exists to protect minors and prevent child abduction.
It is heartbreaking because it's something that I think people just don't think about when they're booking that trip and when they're making their way to the airport because they're just excited to be going, right?
Travel expert Jennifer Weatherhead says it's important to have the proper documents when traveling with a minor or you will be denied boarding.
You need their passport, birth certificate, parental consent, and that letter should be notarized to make sure that it is okay. You need to have proof of your relationship to the child as well. And then any kind of custody documentation.
You'll find travel information on the federal government's website and how to write a consent letter. Gordon wanted to warn other grandparents what happened to them.
If anybody's traveling with young kids, I advise them, make sure you get a letter of permission to take the grandchildren or whoever you're taking with you.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
The 68th Annual Grammy Awards featured powerful performances, preaching on politics, and some big names taking home equally big awards. David Daniel has the highlights from music's biggest night.
Bad Bunny, debí tirar más fotos.
An overwhelmed Bad Bunny warmed up for the Super Bowl by accepting 3 Grammys, including Album of the Year.
I'm gonna say, Eyes Out. We don't hate them. We love our people, we love our family, and that's the way to do it, with love.
Immigration was also on the minds of Song of the Year winners Billie Eilish and Phineas.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
And Best New Artist winner Olivia Dean.
I guess I want to say I'm up here as a granddaughter of an immigrant. I'm a product of bravery, and I think those people deserve to be celebrated.
Jelly Rolls celebrated Jesus after winning a trio of trophies.
Jesus is for everybody. Jesus is not owned by one political party. Jesus is not owned by no music label. Jesus is Jesus, and anybody can have a relationship with him.
Talk about a trailblazer. A lengthy in memoriam segment featured Reba McEntire's first ever Grammys performance. And all-star tributes to Ozzy Osbourne and to D'Angelo and Roberta Flack.
I feel like making love. Kendrick Lamar!
The night's biggest winner was Kendrick Lamar with 5 awards, including Record of the Year, giving him 27 lifetime, passing Jay-Z as the Grammy's most awarded rapper.
So I appreciate y'all. God is the glory. Love y'all.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
In business news, Toyota is recalling over 20,000 electric vehicles in Canada over safety concerns. Transport Canada says water could leak into the rear door handle and cause the door opener switch to short circuit. This could lead to the rear door opening unexpectedly while driving. The affected models are Toyota Priuses and Toyota Prius Prime from 2023 to 2026. Those impacted will be advised by mail to take the vehicle to a dealership to get fixed. Cosmetics giant Estee Lauder has been fined $750,000 after pleading guilty to using a forever chemical in some eyeliner products. The cosmetics company pled guilty last month in an Ontario court. The ingredient is a substance Environment and Climate Change Canada says does not degrade easily. Cosmetic companies have used it to boost the durability of products following the recent conviction. Estee Lauder's name will be added to Canada's Environmental Offenders Registry, a list detailing corporations' offenses committed under certain environmental laws. Precious metal stocks crashed last week. Let's find out if they recovered. Here's BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez.
Gold and silver stocks dragged down the TSX over 1,000 points on Friday, and both struggled to gain ground today. Spot gold dropped another 2% after that 12% drop-off on Friday. Spot silver dropped about 2% as well after plummeting more than 30% Friday. Investors had pushed both to record highs on concerns about the tariffs and turmoil with the U.S. building up its military presence in the Middle East. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 73.14. West Texas Intermediate down over $3 to 62.14. Western Canadian Select down to 50.36. And the TSX gained 260 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down $176.09, closing the day at $47.2876 U.S. an ounce. Silver down $24.08 to end the day at $81.44. Copper up a penny to $6.02, and nickel down 30 cents, ending the day at $7.67 U.S. a pound. Rick is back now for one last look at your Tuesday weather.
Well, Tony, the wind chill factor tomorrow morning not as severe as what we experienced last week. Let's have a look at some of the numbers right now. Greater Sudbury -14 when you wake up, -24 in Timmins, and -26 in Timmins. 26 in Sault Ste. Marie. Some light snow, some light precipitation also in the works for tomorrow across the Northeast. Meanwhile, in North Bay, -16 when you wake up, but a high of -6, -19 in Parry Sound, and -17 in Temiskaming Shores. All three locations with light precipitation for tomorrow. Tony?
Thanks so much for that, Rick. And finally, 2 red foxes staged a playful blockade of a police cruiser in Northwestern Ontario. A provincial police officer in Armstrong posted this video to social media recently of the furry animals positioned around the parked vehicle, preventing the officer from driving away. One comment on the post said, "Nature's Neighborhood Watch would like a word with the officer." And that's a great piece of video right there. And folks, that's CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. Thanks so much for watching. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night.